Yes, mates, how's it going? My name's Lee, and welcome back to the FPL Punk YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be taking an early look at players from Game Week 16. These include transfer targets you might want to buy, out-of-form players you might want to sell, and even some players you should wait on before making a final decision. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe down below for more FPL content. Anyway, let's rock and roll.
Get strong.
Right, mates, first up, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool defender, 7 million, 20.8% owned still. I sold him a few weeks ago, and I thought he was a seller on that time. I was wrong on that one. I do think he's very much a buy, and he's very much a viable option moving forward, especially. And with the Everton game being postponed, he's got that extra rest now with Fulham at home in Game Week 16, followed by Spurs, Leicester, West Ham, and Man United. And then obviously that future double game week coming up, he feels like very much a long-term buy and hold. Got really good stats this season, 6 clean sheets and 3 goal involvements, with 2 of those coming in the most recent game. Total of 61 points so far. And the Liverpool defence has got great defensive data anyway. The goals conceded per 90 of 0.66 and the expected goals conceded of 0.79, so they're performing even better than what the data suggests. His XG is really poor from what we've kind of seen from Trent in the past. Expected assists is just crazy at 0.32, so that's why you're buying Trent this season. You're buying him for his assist potential more than anything else. Still on a lot of set pieces, still great from open play. I think if he does get anything, he's going to be quite high in the bonus as well, and he should be very, very high on your list. I think if you can get there in terms of free transfers, I could definitely consider it. However, there is a cheaper way to get into the Liverpool defence, and let's take a look at the next defender. A budget way to get into the Liverpool defence is via Joe Gomez at 4.9 million, 1.7% owned. Only made 4 appearances so far in the league, with most of them coming off the bench. 1 clean sheet in that, with a total of 9 points so far. Got really good defensive data because he plays in that Liverpool back line. And I think if you can't quite afford Trent, I think getting someone like a Gomez just makes so much sense. I think he will be kind of nailed on, and I think he is the first choice to go alongside Van Dijk now that Konate is out injured for a while. Great fixtures coming up. I like him a lot, and I like whenever he has played, he has looked really good. And what I like about him as well is that I can play anywhere in that back line, so I'm not too concerned about minutes here. And I think if he did get any kind of rest at all, he might get taken off with 10 minutes to go, as opposed to not getting a start at all. I think he's going to start the next 5 or 6 or something like that. He's obviously not going to be a very long-term hold, because once Konate does come back, or whether Liverpool do any kind of January transfer business, then that kind of remains to be seen. But as of right now, Joe Gomez is Van Dijk's first choice partner, and I think it's just such a great way to get into that Liverpool defence. And I think if you can't get Trent, then Gomez is the next best option. I don't think Van Dijk is worth the 0.5 million less than Trent. I'd rather just go out and get Trent instead. I know you could probably get security minutes through Van Dijk, but I just think Trent's ceiling is just so much higher that I'd rather just go and get Trent as opposed to Van Dijk. So I do think Joe Gomez is the second best Liverpool defensive asset. Just kind of makes so much sense if you can't get to the likes of Trent, or if you do already have Trent and you want to get to Van Dijk, I just go and get Joe Gomez instead. But that's just my personal opinion. The next defender I want to take a look at is Rico Lewis, and I've just seen him get sent off for Man City. Scored a goal and then got sent off as well, and I just didn't need any more reasons to sell Rico Lewis. Last week I was kind of on the side of maybe wait and see to kind of sell. Now it's very much a sell. I think with him being sent off, I think he might lose some trust from Pep, and I don't like that at all. I know he's only missing the Man United game, but Pep's very much kind of, once you get in the team, then it's harder to get out of it, and he likes his players to be in emotion, and he likes that certain level of trust, and I think Rico Lewis might have lost that through being sent off. Doesn't have great fixtures coming up in my opinion. Man United, which he misses anyway, but then Aston Villa, Everton, Leicester and West Ham. I don't think they're great defensively. They're not going to keep a lot of clean sheets. Something's not clicking at the back there, and I just don't like it. So for me, probably going to be a sell this week. I'm probably going to go and get Trent, or if I can't get Trent, look at someone like a Joe Gomez. But I've got 2 free transfers now. I can kind of maneuver a couple of things, and if I do the moves that I'm thinking of making, I can get Rico Lewis up to something like a Trent. I think if you got him he's still owned by 11.7%, I think you could, if you've got a bit of extra money, you could go somewhere like a Joe Gomez, or you could come down to somebody like a Colwell or or some of the other Chelsea defenders. I think there are options out there. I even like someone like a Lewis Hall from Newcastle, or I know a lot of people also like someone like a Kirkes from Bournemouth. I think I prefer Lewis Hall if I was going to go down that kind of cheap route. But yeah, Rico was for me. After being sent off, I didn't need any more reason to sell him. So for me, probably going to be sold this week. Just wanted to discuss the Wolves assets really quick, and for me, it's just a very much wait and see. Like, I think whoever you've got, you probably hold them up until game week 18, game week 19. I mean, I included quite a lot of the fixtures because I want to show you how rough the fixtures get after game week 17. Man United at home in game week 18, followed by Spurs, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Liverpool. Like, they're just absolutely awful. I'll probably keep Matthias Cunha up until that Leicester game. Let him play out game week 16 and 17 against Ipswich and Leicester, and then sell him in game week 18. I'm probably going to sell Aït-Nouri as soon as he gets that 5th yellow card. So if he gets booked in game week 15 and misses the Ipswich game, I'm probably just going to sell him. Like it's not worth keeping hold of a player just for that Leicester away game when they're probably not going to keep a clean sheet anyway. They've been awful stats wise. Their underlying defensive data is just absolutely terrible. They're massively overperforming their XG as a team. Yeah, there's not a lot of good things to say about them. I think they desperately need to pick up some points in game week 15 to game week 17, and then I think whoever you've got, I think game week 18 it's time to sell. But I definitely wouldn't be buying anytime soon. I think if you really want to take a punt on someone like Acuna on a 2-week punt up against Ipswich and Leicester, I wouldn't hate it. I just think there's better options out there, and we'll take a look at some forwards later on in the video. But yeah, someone like Aït-Nouri, I think it's probably time to sell sooner rather than later. But whilst they've still got these green fixtures with West Ham in game week 15, then Ipswich and Leicester in 16 and 17, just wait till he gets booked and then sell him. The first midfielder I want to take a look at was Antoine Semenyo, and I just really like him. I just think he's class, mate. 5.7 midfielder, 7.1% owned. I think if he was looking for a budget midfielder, I think he's probably the best of the bunch. I'll take a look at another budget midfielder after this one, but I think he's better than the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe and things like that. So I do really like him, and I think if you are looking for someone around this price, I think he should be very high on your list. For me, like, he's very much on the buy side of things. 13 appearances, 4 goals, 1 assist, total of 50 points this season. Some of his key stats per 90, I've changed it up a little bit. So I've gone for recent key stats per 90, so from game week 11 to game week 15. And he's looking pretty good, to be fair. Like he's still averaging about 4 shots per 90. Like he's still getting 1.36 key passes. His XG and his expected assist has dropped down from his season average, but I still really like him. Like when he's getting that amount of shots away, like it's only a matter of time before he does start to get a few goals. And they've got really good games coming up here as well. So game week 16 at home to West Ham, followed by Man United away, Crystal Palace at home in game week 18, followed by Fulham away and Everton at home after that. So I think you could play him in the majority of these games, and that's the reason why I like him so much. So if you're somebody like me who wants to like a Bruno Fernandes or an Eberechi Eze, I own both of these guys. I think coming down to a Semenyo, I'm freeing up some money to probably put it either in the defense or move it into the forward line. I just think just makes so much more sense. But if you've already got Semenyo and you want to and you want to take a look at a second budget midfielder, let's take a look at the next. A second budget midfielder I want to take a look at was Morgan Rogers, and I feel like he's not being spoken about as much as he was earlier on in the season. He's only 5.3 million, 6.6% owned, 15 appearances so far in the league, 4 goals, 2 assists, 59 points in total. Some of his key stats per 90 over the last 5 games or so: 1.38 shots, 1.66 key passes. He's got an XG of 0.17, expected assists of 0.11. So similar to Semenyo, like his key stats over the last 5 have dropped down from his season average, but I still really like him, just down to the fact because of his price. And he does play 90 more often than not. Like I know he's had a couple of rests recently, but they played his most recent game in game week 15, and we did play the full 90 minutes. And over the next 5 games, like he has got some decent games in here as well. So he's got Nottingham Forest away in 16, followed by Man City at home, Newcastle away, Brighton at home, and Leicester at home after that as well. So I think if you've already got someone like a Semenyo or an Emile Smith-Rowe and you want to look to add a second budget midfielder, I don't think you can look. I don't think you can go far wrong with looking at someone like a Morgan Rogers. The last midfielder I want to take a look at was Bukayo Saka, 10.5 million, 42.4% owned, and he's just an absolute machine. I don't have to talk about him too much because like we all know how good he can be. 13 appearances so far in the league, 5 goals, 11 assists, 101 total points this season. I think only Salah's got better than that so far. So with his key stats per 90 over the last 5, 3.3 shots per 90 with 2.75 key passes, an XG of 0.17, which has dropped quite a lot from his season average, but his expected assist has shot all the way up to 0.47, and he's still averaging 7.8 points per match, which is just crazy. And I think if you don't own him, like, he should be very, very high on your list. And I think with Everton in game week 16, followed by Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Brentford, and then Brighton, I just think he's got a great run of games now, and you're just going to play him in every single week. And there are a couple of weeks here where he might be like an outside captain shout, and that could be game week 16 at home to Everton, and game week 18 at home to Ipswich. I just really like him as a player, and we've all seen over the last few weeks how good this guy can be. Absolute machine, absolute monster, and he's only owned by 42.4%. So there's definitely room for his price growth and ownership growth over the next couple of weeks. I think if you haven't got him, then you maybe should think about how you can get him in, because I think he will be heavily owned, particularly over the next 3. I think an Arsenal triple up would be quite nice over the next 3. I like imagine most people have already got Saka, maybe one defender, maybe adding like someone else alongside that, like whether that was a second Arsenal defender or looking for like at some like an Odegaard or a Havertz. I'm probably not going to go there in terms of Odegaard and Havertz, but like I do like the idea of going for a triple, tripling up on the Arsenal team. But yeah, monster, mate, absolute beast. Haven't got him, buy him, mate. He's class. I've only got one forward on the transfer shortlist, and that's Alexander Isak, 8.5 million forward from Newcastle, 18.4% owned, and he's very much on that side of, do I buy him? Do I avoid him to kind of buy? And he's in that kind of range. Have he already missed his good form, or is he still going to play really well over the next 5? And that's kind of something that I need to kind of figure out. I sold him a couple of weeks ago when he was just awful for me over those couple of weeks, and he got injured. Came back against Liverpool, scored in the most recent game today against Brentford. So he's just class, mate. He's just a really classy player. Some of the things that I don't like is the fact that Gordon can play number 9 and he got rested today. Callum Wilson looks like he's going to be back soon. Is he going to take minutes away? I don't think he'll take a huge amount, but I can see Isak maybe only playing 70 to 80 minutes most weeks now. And he's just been in great form over the last 6 games or so, and I think he's got something like a total of 6 returns in the last 6 games. Just his general Premier League stats this season: 13 appearances, 6 goals, 3 assists, and 67 points in total. Some of his key stats per 90 over the last 5 games: 3.4 shots, 2.78 key passes with an XG of 0.46 and expected assists of 0.15. Still only getting about 5.2 points per match, but he has played well over the last few games also. And I'm not really sure what to do here. I sold him recently. Do I just kind of correct the error and just go and get him again? He looks good again today, where he scored his goal, and he has got Leicester and Ipswich in the next 2. Feels like more of a short-term move as opposed to anything else. I feel like I want to put more money into defense as opposed to the attack. So I might not necessarily do it. But I think if you are looking for a forward, particularly around the price of kind of 8 to 9 million, I do think Isak's the best. I know people might look at someone like a Watkins, but Watkins didn't start today, and we don't know how many times that's going to happen over the next 5 games. So Watkins just feels too risky for me right now, and he's not firing on all cylinders. Isak looks banging form. Newcastle kind of like hit and miss in terms of a team, but Isak himself does look pretty good. So I think if you are looking for a forward and you're looking for someone around that price range, I don't think you can go far wrong with someone looking at someone like an Isak. Do be warned though, after game week 17, they do have Aston Villa in game week 18, followed by Man United and Spurs. But the fixtures do get a little bit tougher after that, after the Leicester and Ipswich games. So is what it is. I think if you've got him, you obviously keep him, you obviously play him. I'm not sure if I didn't own him like me now, do I go back and buy him? Not really sure. Leave a comment down below if you think I should buy Isak for game week 16. Right, mates, that's it for today's video. So I looked at my main transfer targets for game week 16. There's a lot of buys in there, and I know there's a lot of buys, but I feel like there's so many good options, and there's not that many players that I think are bad options, or players that I think need to be sold. With the kind of fixture congestion, I think whoever you've got is probably just better playing them rather than taking risks on certain players. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and drop a comment down below. Have a good day, peace and love.